Hello, I'm Jonathan from Shooting Stuff. Today I'm going to share with you a little bit of my journey into the world of the Glock 48 slimline pistol. I've always loved Glocks, and Glock has a increasingly complex range of pistols, especially those within the 9mm caliber. 9mm is by far the most popular caliber in the latter part of the 2010s, running into 2020. And especially in the smaller frame pistols, the 9mm remains quite controllable. Glock started out into the small world with the Glock Model 42 in 9mm short, a really tiny 6-round in the magazine pistol. Followed soon after that with the 43, which is a full 9mm Luger, 9mm Para, 9x19, also 6 rounds in the magazine. They were solid hits, and it didn't take long for the 48 to also be produced onto the market. And the 48 is kind of a 1.5 stack magazine, so slightly wider than the single stack 43, but not as fat as the Glock 19 and 17, the normal full-size pistols, which are true double stack. So the 48 is a fantastic compromise for carry, especially being nice and flat, and the hybrid in between the 48 and the Model 43 with the same top end is then the 43X, probably one of the most popular of Glock's pistols when we're making this movie in 2023. So why the 48 and what's it got to offer? Well, I was kind of inspired by two friends, Kevin and Cheryl, who decided to go with the Glock 43X MOS, the modular optical system, supplied directly by Glock. Glock chose the Shield RMSC optic to fit onto these pistols as a factory standard, and we got a couple of pistols for Kevin and Cheryl, and they made a wonderful his and hers. Kevin remained in standard black, and Cheryl did a wonderful rose gold finish in Cerakote here at cerakote.co.za. So Kevin and Cheryl have been taking private lessons with me, so I got to witness their progress with the 43X pistols, and to say they were relatively easy to shoot and to see their rapid progress, it was wonderful to see. And that was an inspiration for me to say, let's enhance my journey into the world of production optics. As most of you will know, I've put a Trigicon SRO on my Glock 17 pistol that I shoot slightly competitively, and the package always appealed to me. One of our clubs, Magnum United, here in Pretoria, hosted a Glock shoot which featured some night shooting, and there it was clear that a weapon-mounted light is a huge advantage under low light conditions. So it was a natural next step for me to also look at enhancing the 48 with such a quality light. I selected the Streamlight TLR7 sub as a perfect match for the Glock 48. And today we're going to just talk a little bit about how the package came together, what it entails, and then we'll have a look at a bit of shooting as we go forward. So here's the Glock 43X with the factory installed optic. Truly compact, You can get a full grip. Most people can get a full grip of all 3 fingers of the shooting hand onto the grip, and it's a easily concealable, well-controlled pistol. The RMSC optic is always on. It's battery powered, so you have to remove the sight to replace the optic, but the battery lasts a year plus. So if you change it at the beginning of every year, you'll be good always. 2032 battery, so very inexpensive. The auto intensity does help a lot, and shooting into the camera lights gives me a nice bright dot on the background. The 43X that I'm going to shoot mostly today has the Streamlight fitted. We've got the chamber flag here to show that it is clear, and the light is on. Touch the light and hold it, and then it releases and switches off immediately. You release the switch, but if you just touch it briefly and remove your finger, it stays on until you activate the switch again, and that is left and right. So either trigger finger or the support hand thumb is a good option for that. Another cool feature about this Streamlight TLR is the ability to prevent inadvertent wastage of your battery. A simple partial turn of the bezel in the front and pushing the switch deactivates or does not permit the light to come on. So if you know you're going to store it for a while or display it, then you save a lot of battery life by simply turning the bezel a little bit. Whenever you're going to pick it up for daily use, a quarter turn, and you have a nice functional light again. So the Streamlight TLR7 sub doesn't have a truly quick decoupling, but they're very easy to fit onto the Glock pistol. Simply roll it into place and tighten this screw, but it's not something that you only tighten by hand. And this is where my trusty Chapman gunsmithing kit comes into its own, where the handy assortment of bits allows you to quickly select the right one and to snug up whatever bolt needs to be snugged up. My good friend Michael at Daniel's Holsters made me a holster for the package as a precursor to a set of holsters, inside waistband, outside waistband for carry, and then also a competition holster, just so I can play with the full package more frequently and enjoy it. Another enhancement that I've done to the 48 is to fit an aftermarket Apex trigger. I felt that the reduced height of the trigger guard compromised my finger on the trigger, and it was actually quite painful to shoot. Perhaps it was the gap at the bottom, the configuration of the trigger, but I don't experience that same discomfort with the flat-faced aluminium Apex trigger. That has been a game changer for me, the sheer shooting comfort of the Apex trigger. One of the really cool features about the 48 compared to the smaller 43 and 42 pistols is the availability of aftermarket mags from Shield Arms. These all-steel magazines give you an increased internal volume, so they take in the same size as a normal Glock magazine. They take 15 rounds as opposed to the 10 rounds normally. Most frequently, extended capacity magazines are longer but the shield arms follows a different route, and it really is a great advantage. So the shield arms being an all-steel magazine, we recommend fitting the shield arms all-steel magazine catch so that it doesn't destroy the magazine release. The Glock magazines with the polymer coating are still fully compatible. My recommendation is to insert them carefully to avoid damage, but these have been used quite a bit in this pistol and there's no damage evident yet. The shield arms mags and the Glock mags are all drop-free, so this package in a, let's call it a recreational competitive world, should be quite fun to shoot. And time will tell whether anybody follows this option in a serious competition like carry optics or production optics at a highly competitive level. So what do we shoot in a compact pistol? Regular ammo works fine, but my experience is that the pistol is quite whippy in your hand. My advice to people looking for a new firearm, especially first-time owners, is always that bigger, heavier firearms shoot much more comfortably than small concealable. But life is a trade-off, so deciding on your priorities for your circumstances, everybody is different, and each person needs to trade off the ability to carry concealed versus the ability to shoot a lot more comfortably. The 48 and the 43X are fantastic middle-of-the-road packages, whereas bigger pistols like the Glock 19 and the Glock 17 favor more regular shooting or duty carry where you're not obliged to conceal, and the babies, the Glock 43 and the 42, are really things that you'll fire a few shots to stay familiar with, but you're not going to go for an extended range session shooting a few hundred rounds at a time. You'll know that you've been shooting. So I've always shot 124 grain reloads at a power factor of approximately 135. So it's about a 124 grain CMJ bullet at 1,080 feet per second. It's always been my go-to load, and I decided after shooting this Glock 48 a little bit to experiment with some heavier bullets at more moderate velocities, and I developed a 147 grain CMJ load at a power factor of around 127, so much closer to the margin, not for really serious competition use, but to try and enhance the comfort of shooting these pistols. So we can't really see the difference once they are loaded. So how do you know? Weighing things is not always a reliable way to go. So I've got different brands of cases for the different loads. If you follow that sort of discipline, then it's always easy to identify what you've done when, so that you can use the correct stuff at any point in time. So let's get down to the fun of firing some shots. I'll test a little bit of accuracy. I've got two Glock 48s, a his and a hers. The hers is Lorraine's pistol, and mine is currently fitted with the Shield XL sight while I wait for the compact one to arrive from the importers in a couple of weeks. Okay, time to fire a few shots. We'll start off with 124 grain reloads and shoot five shots for accuracy. The secret when shooting a red dot optical sight is to focus on the target with both eyes open. I can feel the whip. It's not on the edge of minor. I'm going to follow that up now with 147 grains and see if it feels any different, if it shoots any nicer. Definitely less muzzle rise, less flip in my hand, a softer shooting load overall, and it's not surprising that I shot it a little better than the slightly higher power factor, more whippy 124 grain loads. Let's unload and we're going to have a look at the target. So here's my 124 grain loads, two little groups, more of a flinch deciding to shoot on these guys, whereas the 147's a little bit more consistent, but not a lot to choose between them. They're both good loads, but for sure, this one was softer shooting, less muzzle flip. I could track the dot a lot better than with these guys. All right, so the first one is the 124 grain. Next up, 147 grain. Much softer. I could shoot all day with this load.